explore the strange, hidden, and untold. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Vera. And Kevin, please tell me we're not about to talk about another alien autopsy or Bigfoot sighting, because I'm still recovering from last week's Black Knight satellite deep dive.
Oh, this is much better. We're going underground today, Vera. Deep underground Vatican City, into 85 kilometers of shelving that's been locked away from prying eyes for centuries.
85 kilometers? That's like, what, 50 miles of stuff? What could they possibly need 50 miles of storage for?
Well, that's exactly what everyone's been asking for the past 400 years. Today we're talking about the Vatican Secret Archives, or as they desperately tried to rebrand them in 2019, the Vatican Apostolic Archives.
Wait, they rebranded? That's like calling it definitely not suspicious archives instead. Why would you change the name unless
Unless you're tired of Dan Brown conspiracy theorists camping outside your gates, exactly. But here's the thing, Vera. The word secret was never supposed to mean what we think it means. In the original Latin, archivum secretum meant private or personal. Like, this was literally just the Pope's personal filing cabinet.
the Pope's filing cabinet? Kevin, no one has 50 miles of personal files unless they're hiding some serious stuff. My filing cabinet has like 3 folders and a stack of receipts from 2019 that I keep meaning to organize.
Right? But get this. These archives were officially established in 1612 by Pope Paul V, though popes had been hoarding documents since, well, basically since Christianity began. We're talking about scrolls, letters, legal documents that literally traveled with the popes as they moved around.
So they're like ecclesiastical pack rats.
Ecclesiastical pack rats with some very interesting mail. We're talking letters from Michelangelo, correspondence from Abraham Lincoln, and get this, the 1530 petition from England's aristocracy asking Pope Clement VII to annul King Henry VIII's marriage.
Oh, that worked out well for everyone involved. But, okay, so far this sounds like a really, really extensive historical archive. Where did the conspiracy theories come in?
Well, here's where it gets interesting. Up until 1881, absolutely no one except the Pope and his inner circle could access these files. No historians, no researchers, nobody. And even when Pope Leo XIII finally opened it up to scholars,
There's a but coming, isn't there?
big but. Even today, you can't just walk in and browse. You have to apply, specify exactly what you're researching, and then staff members retrieve specific documents for you to examine in a supervised reading room. Oh, and anything after 1958? Still classified.
Okay, now I'm getting suspicious vibes. That's like inviting someone to your house, but only letting them see the guest bathroom and maybe the kitchen, but definitely not the basement.
And that's exactly why the conspiracy theories exploded. Because when you combine the evocative name Secret Archives with physical inaccessibility in the Catholic Church's, let's call it selective transparency on certain matters,
People's imaginations run wild.
Wild doesn't even begin to cover it. So let me ask you, Vera, if you were going to hide something earth-shattering in the Vatican's secret vaults, what would it be?
Proof that Jesus had a Twitter account? I don't know, Kevin, I'm not great at conspiracy theories. What are we talking here?
How about a time machine?
I'm sorry, what now?
Meet the Chronovisor. In the 1950s, a Benedictine priest named Father Pellegrino Ernetti claimed he led a team of scientists in building this device that could literally view scenes from the distant past. Picture a huge cabinet full of cathode ray tubes and antennas.
Like a 1950s TV setup from hell.
Exactly. And Ernetti claimed he used this thing to watch Cicero giving speeches in ancient Rome and, wait for it, witnessed Christ's crucifixion firsthand.
He watched Jesus die? On his Vatican Time TV?
As proof, he produced a grainy photograph of Jesus on the cross and a transcription of an ancient Latin play. The only problem? Skeptics quickly figured out that his photo of Christ was literally just a postcard of a statue, and his ancient Latin text showed distinctly modern characteristics.
So he was basically the 1950s equivalent of someone posting AI-generated historical footage on TikTok.
Pretty much. But here's what's fascinating. When confronted with the evidence that his proof was fake, Ernetti didn't back down completely. He maintained that the Chronovisor was real, but had been dismantled and hidden in the Vatican Secret Archives because it was too dangerous and could be misused,
Of course it was. It's always hidden in the Vatican archives. That's like the conspiracy theory equivalent of my homework got eaten by a dog.
right? And from a scientific standpoint, the whole premise violates basic physics. Energy dissipates way too quickly for you to just capture detailed audiovisual waves from 2,000 years ago.
Plus, wouldn't the Vatican want to promote evidence of Christ's crucifixion? Like, that's literally their whole thing.
You'd think so. But the Chronovisor is just the beginning, Vera. What if I told you that some people believe the Vatican is hiding proof of extraterrestrial life?
In the Pope's filing cabinet, next to his electric bills and, I don't know, papal grocery receipts?
This one actually got some legs recently. In 2023, David Grush, a former U.S. intelligence officer, testified that Vatican officials under Pope Pius XII in the 1940s had tipped off the United States about a recovered UFO in Italy from the Mussolini era.
Wait, Mussolini had UFOs? This story keeps getting weirder.
The implication was that the Holy See had known about extraterrestrial visits and helped cover it up. Some theorists even speculate that the archives might contain actual alien artifacts or secret documents about encounters through the centuries.
But I'm guessing the Vatican was like, nope, no aliens here, just boring church stuff.
In June 2024, Bishop Sergio Pagano, who's the archives prefect, stated categorically that there is no document in the archives that regards extraterrestrial life. His secretary even said researchers should be dissuaded from undertaking futile and unproductive searches for alien material.
That's actually kind of sad. Imagine being a UFO researcher and getting officially told by the Vatican to stop wasting everyone's time.
But here's what's interesting. The Vatican Observatory's own scientists have spoken openly about hypothetical alien life. They've even said they'd baptize aliens if they asked.
They'd baptize aliens? That's adorable. Welcome to Earth. Please accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior.
Which suggests they're not actually that worried about extraterrestrial revelations. But the conspiracy theories persist because, well, absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence, right?
Okay, so we've got time machines and aliens. Please tell me someone thinks they're hiding the Holy Grail down there.
Oh, Vera, the Holy Grail is amateur hour. How about the Ark of the Covenant?
The Ark of, like Indiana Jones' Ark of the Covenant? With the face-melting powers?
That's the one. Over the years, treasure hunters have theorized that everything from the Holy Grail to the Ark of the Covenant to the Spear of Destiny, that's the lance that supposedly pierced Jesus on the cross, are all stashed somewhere in the Vatican's secret vaults.
I mean, if I were hiding ultimate religious artifacts, the Pope's basement does seem like a logical choice.
The appeal is obvious, but there's literally zero evidence. Church authorities have never even hinted at having these items. And the artifacts we do know about, like the Shroud of Turin, are accounted for elsewhere.
The shroud is in Turin, hence the name.
Exactly. One reputed Holy Lance is in a Vienna museum. The Vatican does have an immense collection of relics and art, but the famous lost treasures of Judeo-Christian tradition being hidden in filing cabinets? More fantasy than fact.
Okay, but what about... Wait, I feel like we're missing something really important here. What about Jesus himself? Surely someone thinks they have secret Jesus documents.
Oh, we're getting there. This is where things get really spicy. There are persistent rumors that the Vatican is hiding documents that could shake Christianity's very foundations.
Like what? Jesus' diary? Dear diary, performed another miracle today. The disciples still don't get it.
Some theories claim there's proof that Jesus never existed at all, like an alleged letter from Emperor Nero or other Roman officials that conclusively debunks the gospel story.
That would be actually devastating for a lot of people.
On the flip side, Other conspiracists suggest the archives might contain proof that Jesus did exist, but not as we think. Instead, they believe there's evidence that Jesus married Mary Magdalene and had children.
Oh, Dan Brown is having flashbacks right now.
The whole holy bloodline concept. Documents proving Jesus had descendants would be absolutely paradigm-shattering for church doctrine, so the theory goes that they'd be locked away forever.
But here's my question. If the Vatican had proof that Jesus never existed, wouldn't that kind of defeat the purpose of the Vatican existing?
Right? And mainstream scholars who have actually worked in the archives say the contents from early Christianity are well cataloged and include nothing as revolutionary as a secret gospel written by Jesus or proof of his descendants.
So no Jesus fan fiction in the Vatican basement.
Not that we know of, but Vera, we haven't even gotten to the really weird stuff yet.
There's weirder stuff than Vatican time machines and alien baptisms.
How do you feel about demon summoning manuals?
What? Demon summoning? Kevin, please tell me the Pope doesn't have a how-to guide for calling up Satan.
Well, there's a legend that the Secret Archives house forbidden magical texts, specifically something called the Grand Grimoire, a medieval book of demon summoning and dark sorcery.
The Grand Grimoire sounds like something you'd find in a teenager's D&D collection.
Also called Le Dragon Rouge. And here's the thing. It's actually a real text that you can find in various libraries. But the lore insists that there's an original so potent that it has to be kept under Vatican lock and key.
Because regular demon summoning books are fine, but the deluxe edition is too dangerous?
Other variations suggest they've got writings on alchemy, secret Templar rituals, or even the true name of God hidden away.
The true name of God? Like his government name?
His government name. The Vatican did have something called the Index Librorum Prohibitorum, the index of forbidden books. But most of those weren't locked in a vault. They were just banned from circulation.
So like a really intense library blacklist.
Exactly. And scholars who have worked in the archives say if there were any black magic manuscripts, they'd likely be noted in the accessible catalogs, even if under a coded description. No one's reported finding a suppressed satanic spellbook yet.
Yet? That yet is doing a lot of heavy lifting there, Kevin.
But wait, there's more. Are you ready for possibly the most absurd Vatican conspiracy theory?
Hit me. At this point, I'm expecting you to tell me they're hiding Bigfoot's birth certificate.
The world's largest pornography collection.
I'm sorry, the Pope has... What now?
This rumor claims that the Vatican Secret Archives contain the biggest stash of pornographic material in the world, accumulated over centuries of moral policing and inquisitions.
So, like, as the church was banning dirty books, they kept copies for research purposes?
Supposedly. In 1972, William F. Buckley Jr. quipped on TV that the Vatican probably has the largest collection of pornography in the world, which just added fuel to the fire.
Of all the conspiracy theories we've discussed today, this one somehow seems the most human. Like, yeah, of course the people banning stuff would keep copies.
But here's where this theory actually gets debunked with real evidence. In the 1980s, researchers from the Kinsey Institute, the legit sex research center, were allowed to review microfilm copies of the Vatican holdings.
They sent sex researchers to investigate the Pope's alleged porn stash. I love everything about this sentence.
And they found virtually nothing. A few mildly erotic Renaissance-era art pieces and literary references, but no secret cache of banned adult materials. A noted erotica scholar also stated that the Vatican has no really erotic books, apart from some classics like Ovid's Art of Love, filed with other Latin literature.
So the legendary Vatican porn collection is
a myth. Though conspiracy folks retort that, of course, the Vatican wouldn't put the real stuff on the microfilms. But at that point, you're entering unfalsifiable territory.
Okay, so let me get this straight. We've covered time machines, aliens, holy relics, secret Jesus documents, demon books, and a non-existent porn collection. Please tell me we're building up to the Illuminati.
Vera, you know me so well.
Of course it's the Illuminati. It's always the Illuminati.
The theory goes that this Enlightenment-era secret society infiltrated the Catholic hierarchy and still controls the Church's deepest secrets. Some believe the Vatican archives hold proof, correspondence tying popes to the Illuminati or Freemasons, evidence of a satanic cabal manipulating global events from within the Holy See.
So the Illuminati are running the Catholic Church? That seems like a weird career pivot.
These claims tend to be driven by anti-Catholic or anti-Masonic narratives. Historical fact: several popes in the 1700s and 1800s did issue decrees against Freemasonry, seeing secret societies as threats.
Which probably just made the conspiracy theorists go, see? They're fighting because they're enemies, or because they're secretly working together. Either way, conspiracy confirmed.
Exactly. But Vatican archivists say the only plots you'll find in their files are the kind in history books, political intrigues of bygone eras, not eternal occult conspiracies.
So, what do the people who actually work there say about all this? Like the scholars who spend time in these archives?
This is where it gets really interesting because mainstream scholars and Vatican officials paint a completely different picture. They describe the archives as full of important historical documents, but definitely not home to world-ending revelations.
Shocking. The people with actual access say it's boring.
One medievalist who surveyed thousands of 14th century papal letters wrote, "All this stuff is cool, but not evidence of UFOs cool. What they find is church administration through the ages, correspondence about wars and diplomacy, petitions for annulments, theological debates."
So, exactly what you'd expect from an institutional archive.
Right, and here's the key point. Hundreds of scholars have combed through these archives since 1881, and none have uncovered proof of the sensational conspiracies we've talked about.
But Kevin, I feel like there's something you're not telling me. Has anything actually interesting been found? Like ever?
Oh, absolutely. In 2001, a scholar named Barbara Frail discovered a misfiled parchment from 1308. It contained the record of Pope Clement V's private absolution of the Knights Templar leaders from charges of heresy.
Wait, the Knights Templar were cleared? But I thought they were condemned and disbanded.
For centuries, everyone thought they had been condemned outright. This document proved the Pope had actually cleared them, though he later disbanded the order under pressure from the French king.
So that's a legitimate historical bombshell that was just misfiled.
For 700 years, the Vatican published this Chinon parchment in 2007. Crucially, this wasn't a nefarious cover-up. It was a lost record that enriched historical understanding rather than rewriting it.
That's actually really cool. So there are genuine discoveries, just not the sci-fi stuff.
Exactly. And the Vatican has been trying to be more transparent lately. Apart from the 2019 rebranding, Pope Francis opened the previously sealed archives of Pope Pius XII ahead of schedule in 2020, specifically to address Holocaust controversies.
So they're actively trying to debunk the mystery?
They are. In 2010, they even gave journalists a guided tour to counter wild depictions in films and novels. As the Associated Press put it, the Holy See has tried to debunk the idea that its vaunted secret archives are all that secret.
But people don't want them to be boring, do they?
That's exactly the problem. The Vatican's challenge is that it can only show so much transparency. At some point, trust in the Church itself determines what people choose to believe.
And there's always going to be that one person saying, well, you can't prove there isn't a magic book hidden somewhere.
Right. As one commentator noted, short of throwing open every vault, which won't happen for security and preservation reasons, none of this proves that there aren't magic books, proof of UFOs, or proof that Jesus didn't exist being hidden in the archives, right? And the only honest answer is, sure?
So the absence of evidence becomes evidence of a conspiracy.
Exactly. Plus, there are still legitimate lingering questions. The archives of recent popes from the late 20th century are still closed. What if they contain controversial records about the Church's stance on modern political events or internal crises?
Or what if they really did find something paradigm shattering, but decided it was too destabilizing to ever reveal?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that's what keeps these theories alive. The Vatican Archives occupy this fascinating space between fact and fantasy.
You know what's funny, though? We've spent all this time talking about what might be hidden in there, but the reality that scholars actually experience is probably pretty amazing on its own. Letters from Michelangelo, correspondence with world leaders throughout history.
Absolutely. The real Vatican Archives are described as meticulously cataloged, full of illuminating documents that reveal how the Church operated through major historical events. But that's not as exciting as alien artifacts.
No, but it's more real. Like, actual history is pretty fascinating without needing to add time machines.
But here's what I find most interesting, Vera. These conspiracy theories say less about the Vatican and more about us. Our desire to believe that somewhere out there is the ultimate hidden knowledge that will completely upend our understanding of the world.
We want there to be secrets. We want there to be more than what we can see.
And in our age of information overload, the allure of a genuinely unopened door becomes almost irresistible.
So until someone finds that dramatic discovery, if it ever exists, the Vatican Archives will keep straddling this line between boring historical reality and thrilling conspiratorial possibility.
Exactly. Whether that's aliens, time machines, or just really, really old administrative paperwork, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Or apply for research access and spend months going through 14th century papal correspondence, hoping to stumble across Jesus' marriage certificate.
Which honestly sounds like either the world's most boring job or the most exciting treasure hunt, depending on your perspective.
Both, definitely both. But Kevin, before we wrap this up, I want to circle back to something. We've talked about all these wild theories, but what about the human element here? Like, the people who actually believe this stuff, what drives that?
That's such a good question, Vera. I think part of it is that the Vatican represents this intersection of immense historical power and religious authority. For believers, it's the earthly center of their faith. For skeptics, it's this ancient institution with a track record of, let's say, not always being transparent about uncomfortable truths.
Right? Like, the church has had actual cover ups and scandals throughout history, so it's not crazy to think there might be more.
Exactly. The Galileo trial, the Inquisition, more recent controversies around abuse scandals. The Vatican has a documented history of suppressing information when it serves their interests. So when people hear about secret archives, it's not entirely unreasonable to wonder what else might be hidden.
But there's a difference between institutional cover ups of real scandals and hiding alien technology or time machines.
Right, but I think that's where pop culture comes in. Once you establish that an institution keeps secrets, which the Vatican obviously does, then fiction writers and conspiracy theorists can run wild imagining what those secrets might be.
Dan Brown has a lot to answer for.
Dan Brown, but also centuries of Gothic literature, horror movies, religious thrillers. The Vatican has become this perfect setting for stories about hidden knowledge and supernatural secrets.
And once those stories get into the culture, they take on a life of their own.
Plus, there's something psychologically satisfying about believing you know about secrets that the masses don't. It makes people feel special, like they're part of some exclusive group that sees through the official narrative.
The appeal of being in on the conspiracy rather than being fooled by it.
So there you have it, folks. The Vatican Archives, 85 kilometers of shelving that have sparked centuries of speculation about everything from extraterrestrial cover-ups to holy pornography collections. The reality, according to the hundreds of scholars who've actually worked there, is far more mundane but no less fascinating.
It's a treasure trove of history, just not the kind of treasure most conspiracy theorists are hoping for.
But here's what I keep coming back to. In a world where we can Google almost anything, there's something deeply compelling about a place that still holds genuine secrets, even if those secrets are just old letters and administrative records waiting to be discovered.
And maybe that's enough mystery for now.
Maybe it is. But before we close out, I have to ask our listeners, what do you think? Are the Vatican archives really just the Pope's very extensive filing system? Or do you believe something more significant is locked away in those climate-controlled vaults?
Have we missed any major conspiracy theories? Are there Vatican secrets we haven't covered?
Drop your thoughts, theories, and wild speculations in the comments. And while you're at it, if you missed our previous episode on the Black Knight satellite, that mysterious object allegedly orbiting Earth for 13,000 years, now's the perfect time to check that out.
Because apparently ancient mysteries and secret archives go together like aliens and government cover-ups.
Until next time, keep questioning, keep wondering, and remember, sometimes the most interesting mysteries are the ones hiding in plain sight.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We're Kevin and Vera, and this has been Dark Dive, the strange, hidden, and untold.